This is going to be a very, very wild and slippery and unstable week of energies here. So buckle your seatbelts. We're just going to go ahead and jump straight into this video. I would first like to introduce myself. My name's Austin. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for all the kind words, all the comments and stuff like that. It really means a lot. And I'm very happy to share this space with you. So let's go ahead and jump into this week in regards to the astrology. Now, I don't have the charts, okay? I'm just going to talk one-on-one with you. Long story short, I didn't have time to do them, but I did realize, I was like, you know what? People really need to know about this energy. I was going to wait and do a video. I was like, people need to really know about what's going on this week because Neptune is throwing us through a whirlwind here, and especially the square to Mars, right? Mars squaring all this Pisces energy. So things are very unclear this week, and I would say as well that there needs to be an energy of caution. Neptune can really bring out, and all the Pisces energy too, can really bring out the deep, unconscious levels, like the deep levels of the unconscious arise here. It's like the moon card in tarot. It's very much like Eight of Cups energy here as well. So let's see. So March 14th, Mars officially squares Neptune, and this is going to be at 6:38 p.m. Central Time. So when I say the times in this video, just realize that the times are Central Time. Okay, you're just going to have to translate the time to your time. Okay, so we got Mars square Neptune. This is what I was talking about, like the cautious energies here, because Mars does bring with it a fuel of desire of wanting to pursue something. Right? And so our actions is what Mars is. The initiation, the energy that we have to take action. But Mars square Neptune here, things aren't what they seem. And we can get caught up in self-deception. So, and Mars is in Gemini too, I would like to say that. And Gemini is a planet of the intellect. Or, I'm sorry, Gemini is a sign of the intellect. Gemini deals with the way we communicate, the way we relate, the way we make connections, the way we understand. So right now we don't really understand. And if you think you understand, that's Neptune giving you a smoke and mirror here. So be aware and be cautious of your actions. I would also say Mars square Neptune is like be aware of like driving and stuff like that as well. Make sure that you're paying attention, especially paying attention to the environment, because Gemini does deal with how we relate to the environment. You know, don't get caught up in your own self-deception at this time too, or be impulsive with your actions here. So, and one thing I would say about this Mars square Neptune transit today, and it's going to be going on, I would say, like this energy is going to be very potent. I sense and I feel until like the 20th, until at least Mercury comes into Aries, and then a couple days later the Sun will come into Aries at the end of the week. Beginning of next week. So, and that will kind of give us the initiation. But right now, we just need to surrender at this time. It's very much like the Hangman. There's nothing we can really do. We just have to stay suspended in between worlds and allow Neptune to do its thing. Because Neptune on a higher level and a higher frequency is a dissolvent. It dissolves everything into one. So our concepts, the way we conceptualize reality is very blurred at this time because of Neptune. So nothing may be making sense, and that's okay. Just surrender. Just trust in the universal oneness, God, the divine, whatever, and surrender. Because you can't really force things right now. And also today, the moon being in Sagittarius is going to be squaring all this. It's going to be squaring, the moon's going to be squaring Mercury. It's going to be at 4:38 p.m. Central Time. So you just have to, translate the time. And then the moon's going to square the sun in Pisces, right? Mercury's in Pisces, so the moon's going to square Mercury in Pisces. Then the moon's going to square the sun in Pisces at 7:08 p.m. Then the moon's going to square Neptune at 10:37 p.m. Central Time. And then the moon will also be opposing Mars, right? Because Sag, Gemini, opposition, the moon's in Sag, Mars is in Gemini. And then the other mutable energy is Pisces, where all the cluster of energy is. So there's a huge emphasis on this energy at this time. And the moon, the moon is our emotions, our preferences, our desires, our opinions. Let's just say, for instance, you wake up and the moon's now in Aries. Your preference is going to be, okay, I want to start new things. I want to do new things. I want to go on an adventure, right? So with this moon square, all this Pisces energy, like, things are not only confusing, but also things are, it's kind of like things may not really be making sense. And we have to really pay attention to, like I said, our deep levels of the unconscious that are arising here, because it will deceive you. So in regards to like important decisions and stuff like that, I would wait. And to overcome this negative aspect, we really need to control our minds and control our imagination here. You know, because an uncontrolled imagination is going to inflame your desires here. And also be aware of like other people trying to manipulate you as well. This is something that I noticed with Neptune energy, and more so the squares, but also like I would say even like the good aspects of Neptune, that Mars square Neptune people can become manipulative, right? Because their unconscious desires come up and they want to get what they want. And so they try to manipulate your unconscious. So you have to be aware of that, right? And also moon in Sagittarius, there's going to be probably projection elements, people projecting onto you. Everything is confusing, so don't take things personally at this time. You need to trust your own intuition and not get lost in the sauce of Neptune, okay? March 15th, the moon will come out of Sagittarius and it'll enter into Capricorn at 7:06 a.m. here. And before the moon comes into Capricorn, the moon in Sagittarius will trine Venus, that's in Aries. So the moon needs to progress here, kind of get through the fogginess of Neptune, the house of mirrors of Neptune. And once it kind of comes out of that, it's still going to be in Sag, but it won't be facing all that Neptunian energy. It will be, it will then make a nice aspect to Venus. So our emotions and our preferences become a little bit more clear and things start to feel a little bit better. We start to feel a little bit more confident, but we still need to think about this because this Mars square Neptune is the main focus of this whole entire video that I'm doing. Because Mars square Neptune is like, you know, don't get lost in the sauce and take the wrong actions, or don't try to force things, or don't let your intellect drive you crazy about what to do. Don't get deceived by others, you know what I mean? But the moon will come into Capricorn on March 15th, and moon in Capricorn can allow us to really ground our energies into something here while we're dealing with all this Neptune Pisces energy. You know, we can have our emotional comfort by actually working, by actually doing something practical, right? And this is a great time too, because it can ground us in the present after just dealing with all this, with all the Neptunian energy. But it's still here and it's still going to be very potent. The sun's going to conjunct Neptune. We got Mercury conjuncting Neptune. I mean, it's just a wild week. So March 14th, the moon will come into Capricorn. And we can start to ground our energies. The moon will also make a nice sextile to Saturn. That's in Pisces at, I believe it's 0 degrees right now. Yeah, 0. It's about to be 1 degree, but the moon, right when it comes into Capricorn, will make a nice sextile to Saturn. We can ground our emotions into doing something productive, right? Because Pisces energy is really like the imagination, the stuff, our mind's eye, the stuff that we see in our mind's eye, the creative vision, right? Pisces also rules research and introspection and just going deeper into things. But the moon in Capricorn is we're gonna prefer to do something quite tangible. So we can actually start to do, we can be productive here, right? We can be productive. This will be at 8:40 a.m. Central Time, so we could be productive, kind of just ground our energies into doing something productive, creating something, maybe creating some type of art, or just bringing a practical energy that can stick to this reality with things, you know, in our environment. So the Neptune energy kind of eases up a little bit, But then we have Sun conjunct Neptune, and Sun conjunct Neptune is so March 15th, the Sun will conjunct Neptune. This will be at 6:38 p.m. Sun conjunct Neptune is very transcendent, right? It's almost as if you're hearing, one is like getting celestial music and downloads and intuitiveness, and everybody kind of has their own frequency attuned to it. And so the deep levels of the unconscious, we can tune into the deep levels of the unconscious, right? We can attune to it. And I would say also as well that Sun conjunct Neptune can bring about kind of on the shadow side, like this sort of grandiose ambition. Like we're a celestial god, you know what I mean? Like sort of like a disillusionment. So there's a need to pay attention to that. Sun conjunct Neptune is like really good. It's a really good day to, do something creative, reflect, meditate, start to plan out maybe, newer things that you want to do. Because it's going to feel very like time doesn't exist. I also get as well, I put down here is like reality check is needed during this time. It's like, yes, go with the flow of Neptune, be dreamy, be imaginative. However, still remember that we still have this Mars squaring Neptune, right? Because the Sun, Neptune, and Mercury, where they're all right here with Neptune, right? All in Pisces. So they're all together in this, like they're in a cluster, and Mars is looking right at it. So we don't really know what to do or where to go. It's like driving a ship it's like being lost at sea. That's what it is, right? Because Neptune rules the seas. So I would just check in with reality, making sure that, that you're not getting lost in some type of reality that doesn't exist, right? Making sure that you're not self-deceiving yourself. Making sure that you're not losing touch with the reality or possibly even going through a state of psychosis, right? So you gotta pay attention to that. You gotta be aware of that. I'm telling you, it's a crazy week. I was like, how am I gonna I just gotta have to just jump in. I was like, I don't even have time to put this all in the chart. Like I've been doing readings and I've been doing personal readings, and I'm just like, okay, like I got to find a way how to manage things a little bit better, because Pisces energy is very, sloppy. It can be very sloppy, very messy. Things aren't organized, right? Because the opposite of Pisces is Virgo. Virgo is the categorizing and bringing a practical energy and all that type of stuff. So next, March 16th, we're going to have Moon square Jupiter at 9:16 a.m. Central Time. We're going to have the Moon trine Uranus at 10:21 a.m. Central Time. So this is all happening an hour within one another. And then 2 hours later at 12:12 p.m. Central Time, Mercury is going to conjunct Neptune. So, and then the Sun will exactly square Mars at 1:09 p.m. So I'm just kind of reading off, and then we'll talk about it. And then we're going to have Venus square Pluto this day at 2:58 p.m. Central Time. Venus is finally going to come into Taurus. Venus loves Taurus at 5:34 p.m. And then we got Mercury square Mars at 11:48 p.m. So here's all this craziness going on. And so let's talk about it. So the Moon is going to be squaring Jupiter, but also at the same time, within an hour, the Moon's going to be trining Uranus. So Moon trine Uranus, there is an increased stimulation and energy. It's kind of like breaking out of like conventional ways of doing things, right? We want like new stimulation. There's new stimulation coming in, and it's like sort of breaking out of the monotony, stale energies of life. But the Moon squaring Jupiter at this time, like there's a need to be cautious of like taking things to the extreme. You can't take things too far. So I would just be aware of that. There's a heightened energy here. And still remember, like, we still got this Mars. I'm going to keep saying it because it's that important. We still got this Mars energy that's squaring all this Pisces energy, right? So then we got Mercury conjunct Neptune, which I said is going to be at 12:12 p.m. Central Time. And remember, Mercury's in Pisces, Neptune's in Pisces. So not only do we have the Sun still conjuncting Neptune, now we have Mercury that's conjuncting Neptune. And so the Sun and Mercury are very close together. So this is already going to be, our minds are going to be so overactive, very stimulated. So it's important to be grounded at this time. And the one thing, but Mercury conjunct Neptune can be positive, but it also can be just as easily negative. I wonder if I can turn this light on because it just got dark very quickly. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I just turned on my light because it got dark really fast. I think it's about to rain or something, but there's Neptune energy for you. Mercury conjunct Neptune. Now, this is going to heighten our imagination. This is also going to heighten the unconscious. And so the key here is just to be aware of what your unconscious mind is doing and don't let it deceive you. It's nothing to really fear, but just don't allow it to deceive you. Don't allow it to paint pictures of reality that aren't there, right? And not allowing yourself to lose touch with reality. That's why you have to do something very grounding with this energy, or meditative, very introspective. And there's also a frustration with March 16th. There's also a frustration here because Sun is squaring Mars. Sun and Pisces square Mars. Anytime you got Sun square Mars, it's irritating. You feel irritated, right? Because Mars is wanting direction here. Mars in Gemini is I need to understand what to do. And all this Pisces energy is oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is not happening right now. So just be aware of overly aggressive people, overly aggressive energies within inside yourself, impulsive behavior. Think before you act here on March 16th. Think before you act. It gets better. I'm telling you, this is literally this. Not only does this week have a very Plutonian energy and a Neptunian energy and a Uranian energy, these, extending outside of the Saturnian element. There's a lot going on in the heavens that we just don't know what's really going on. And we just have to trust that everything is working out for our highest good, because it is. It is. But yes, I would say this week is very intense, but I would say toward the end of the week, it literally is this major rebirth, because we're going to have the Sun make a sextile to Pluto, and then it's going to come into Aries where we want to be initiating, with Mercury already being there, and it's the phoenix rising from the ashes. But right now we're in the deepest depths of the unconscious, not only your own unconscious, but the collective unconscious. So it's going to be a circus, yo. It's going to be a circus. And that's why I'm just you know what, I'm not going into the charts. We're just going to do the video right now. I don't have time to do everything, all right? So, but I will, though, moving forward. It's just I'm just rolling with the punches here, and that's what we got to do with all this Neptunian energy. So, like I said, the Sun will square Mars at 1:09 p.m. Central Time. And then not only that, Venus is going to square Pluto at 2:58 p.m. Central Time, right? Venus square Pluto is these intense emotional desires, and also can be very manipulative. So, because we're gonna want what we want, and we're gonna want to know what to do, but it's just so unclear, and it's just not there right now. But you can still ground your energy into the moment and just focus on the present moment. Focus on the present moment. Take it step by step. Don't project into the future. You're gonna get hit with disillusionment. And don't drive yourself back to the past either. It's realize that the past doesn't even exist. All that matters right now is the present moment and what you're doing right now in the present moment. So right shortly after Venus square Pluto, I would say the Venus square Pluto energy, the key to this is to channel it into like art or creating something, like doing something actually grounding here, like in reality. So, and then shortly after at 5:34 p.m. Central Time, we'll have Venus enter the Taurus. And now Venus loves Taurus. Venus is dignified in Taurus. And so, you know, Venus coming into Taurus, we're not going to be, I mean, it's just coming in. Yes, the energy will be there, but it's still going to be a little bit unclear about the Venus stuff too until later on. But just expect, you know, when Venus comes into Taurus that we're going to want luxury, we're going to want quality, we're going to be really focused on like things that have really good value to it. And Venus in Taurus also, there's a value that's put on material things too. Like for instance, AirPods, right? Like Venus in Taurus is like going to the store to get the new AirPods. Venus in Taurus gets the brand new ones. Old ones? Nah. Give me the new ones. Give me the one that has the best quality, basically. That's Venus in Taurus. So, but everything, like even when it comes to like just our values and stuff, it's just like we're really going to want things that have like quality to them. We're going to want to produce quality. You know, Venus in Taurus is also going to put a focus on like our money and stuff like that, and creating a more prosperous, more abundant energy. So, and then here we go. Not only did we just have the Sun square Mars, the same day we're going to have Mercury square Mars, right? And I want to say this first too. Venus square Pluto, let me back up for a second. Venus is in Aries and it's going to square Pluto in Capricorn. Venus square Pluto is like, we're going to have to like let go of our need for control. Not letting other people control you. Not trying to control others. We kind of have to be aware of things trying to control us, right? So just be aware of that. Okay, so let's go back. Mercury square Mars. Mercury, that's in Pisces, square Mars. Mars is in Gemini. This is at 11:48 p.m. Central Time, right? And Mercury square Mars is like when you tell somebody off. Like I'm just kind of giving like funny example. It's like, you know, when you cut somebody out, basically. You know, and not only is the Sun squaring Mars, now we got Mercury square Mars. So it's probably going to be it's going to be a day of just like, I'm pretty sure you'll see all over, like, you know, all over the place, just like arguments that are going nowhere and just people spinning their wheels. And it's just because it's just frustration. Also, Mars square or Mercury square Mars is like our minds are so overheated at this point. So impulsive, so irritated that we're just going to want to jump to conclusions. So, or we can even act impulsively, or we can lose our patience. So I feel like we just really need to have more tact and relax this day, because like there's a lot going on, and it's just like, you know, for me it's like I'm just gonna like stay home this day. Like going out, you probably see a bunch of people. Like you're going to see how it correlates in your environment and in the world. So Mercury square Mars as well. Like be aware of just like craziness, literally, like because Mercury and Pisces. Ugh. All right, March 17th. So here we go. We're going to jump into March 17th here. Now, I will say with this moon in Capricorn, it's allowing us to stay grounded, but the only way we're going to feel better and feel grounded and actually feel like just like connected to the moment and actually understanding what's going on in like reality is like by literally working or applying yourself practically or doing something, you know, physically, like staying busy. You'll feel better. So March 17th, this is when what I was just saying is going to be of significance and of importance, because moon sextile Neptune, right? So let's go back. On the 14th, we had the moon that was squaring all this Neptune energy today, basically, when I'm doing this video. But now we don't have to deal with that. Now we can sort of get a grip and grasp of our minds and understand sort of a little bit of what we can do to feel better. And Moon's going to sextile Neptune at 1:30 a.m. Central Time. Moon's going to sextile Mercury at 3:30 a.m. Central Time, while the Moon is sextiling Sun. So the Moon in Capricorn is going to be looking at all the Pisces energy, but in a good harmonious aspect. Sextile trines are good harmonious aspects. Squares, oppositions are can be very. That's where there's tension or confrontation. Not easy, basically. So, like I said, this can allow us with the Moon in Capricorn looking at all this Piscean energy, allow us to get creative with our work, get creative with doing something practical. It's like taking our imagination, taking the depth that we feel in what's in our mind's eye and doing something practical with it. Right? Taking up there and grounding it into the physical. It's like doing like art, right? It's like doing art, right? I feel like art, I just feel like something creative is probably the most ultimate grounding thing, or just being like in your body some type of way. And then we also have the Moon that's going to conjunct Pluto. Now, this can also feel quite intense. And Moon transits are like the Moon moves a degree every 2 hours, right? So when we have Moon conjunct Pluto, it's going to be for like 2 hours. However, you'll probably feel it for like 4 or 5, whatever, somewhere around that time. And so Moon's going to conjunct Pluto at 9:13 a.m. We can let go finally, because I believe this will be the last time the Moon will conjunct Pluto, as Pluto leaves Capricorn and goes into Aquarius. However, Pluto will retrograde back from Aquarius into Capricorn. So we're going to have another one, but this will be the last one as of now. So Moon conjunct Pluto, we can let go of the emotional blocks that we have, and we can build something newer here. We can regenerate here. And then the Moon will enter into Aquarius at 9:25 a.m. Central Time. And then while that Moon, right when it comes into Aquarius, it's going to square Venus at 10:50 a.m. It's not going to feel that great. You know, we're going to feel like we're kind of lacking something, or like what we value is clashing possibly with other people, with it being Moon in Aquarius, or us feeling like we're not really getting what it is that we need to feel comfort. And like I said, Moon transits only last for about 2 hours, so just make sure that you don't let it drive you too crazy, or make you feel down or low or anything like that. And then here's another crazy aspect. Sun conjunct Mercury at 5:44 a.m. And then we got Venus sextile Saturn at 5:25 p.m. So we'll talk about the Venus sextile here in a moment. But Sun conjunct Mercury, again, we can't forget about what Mars is doing here. But Sun conjunct Mercury at 5:44 a.m. is extra stimulation. It's a cazimi, right? Cazimi is when the Sun conjuncts Mercury, or Mercury conjunct the Sun. It's when they're together. Conjunction. And anytime the Sun and Mercury are conjuncted, I mean, think about the Sun, how powerful it is. And then think about the little planet Mercury just getting radiated by the Sun. And so Mercury is like overstimulated. Our minds are overstimulated. It like we can easily drive ourselves into the ground here. So we need to let go and just surrender and be more reflective, introverted, creative, but don't become a victim of your own self-deception, or letting your mind deceive you. And also Sun conjunct Mercury can bring, especially in Pisces, can bring neurosis. People becoming neurotic. It can bring anxiety. So you're just going to have to it's overstimulating. It's not like it's not like, oh my God, like everything is ending. It's not like that. It's more so it's just like not allowing yourself to get lost in the sauce of all the Pisces energy and not be rooted in reality. So just be aware of that. But doing something creative, even getting major downloads and stuff like that, amazing. Imagination, mind's eye, visions, amazing. So, but Venus sextile Saturn at 5:25 p.m. Now Venus, like I said, just came into Taurus. And Venus in Taurus is like, we're really going to, like, our pleasures and our enjoyment is going to be things that have quality to them, right? Physical, material. Also, Taurus deals with like nature and stuff too. Natural things, natural beauty. So Venus sextile Saturns are always good because Saturn can use Venus, right? So the Saturnian energy that's going on within us can use Venus, right? And so Venus in Taurus, Saturn's in Pisces, can give expression to Venus to let us start to organize a little bit here. Could let us like organize our relationships. Good time. I would say it's a good time to plan. You can like plan or like organize or understand like relationship stuff, or with, you know, because Venus rules like money and all that type of stuff. It's kind of like or like your resource and all that stuff. You can like sort of categorize things, understand things. But understand, like, as far as like taking action and stuff like that is probably going to be, it's still unclear because Mars square Neptune is still going on, right? Mars is still squaring all this energy. So let's go to March 18th here. And we're almost to the end of this week at March 20th. And then once, March 20th will be on a Tuesday, but March 20th, that's when we can rise through the ashes here. But we just have to get through this intense period. If you're wondering why I'm looking over here, it's because I can see the camera view angle, what you're seeing. So let's take a look here at March 18th here. So things are getting better. Mercury actually comes into Aries on March 18th, but it'll be at the end of the day, Central Time at 11:24 p.m. But Mercury will sextile Pluto on March 18th, and that'll be at 10:23 p.m. So really, there isn't really, like, early on in the day, we're going to have like the moon doing some stuff, but I want to talk about, actually, yeah, we'll talk about the moon first because it's earlier on in the day. We'll have moon sextile Jupiter, and then the moon will square Uranus. And this is basically all at the same time. Moon sextile Jupiter will be at 11:26 a.m. Moon square Uranus will be at 11:49 a.m. So this basically around the same time. Moon sextile Jupiter, things are going to feel positive, optimistic. And moon square Uranus is going to bring this desire for stimulation. It's going to make us want to have new experiences or seek new experiences, or, you know, finding something that, because we have to remember moon square Uranus, the moon that's in Aquarius is squaring Uranus and Taurus is like, we could even clash with people around this day. So just kind of be aware of that. But it's more like this desire to like want to have stimulation, or we constantly want new experiences. Moon square Uranus as well can make us very bipolar, right? Like our attitudes can flip very quickly, like, you know, Uranus is, right? Like our attitudes can flip really quickly. You know, unpredictable mood swings within ourselves, with people. And the moon sextile Jupiter is kind of just like amplifying this a little bit. Like moon sextile Jupiter, like it feels good, it feels positive, it feels optimistic, it feels expansive. But I would just be aware because we're still dealing with the Mars energy and square to Neptune. And I know it's just Mars, but like when it comes to like us wanting direction and us understanding things, and it's like we don't really want to take the wrong actions. We don't want to do the wrong things. You know, we don't want to like, we have to like surrender to the moment. We can only understand like what's going on right now. By trying to understand the future and then take action toward the future, it's very unclear, it's very blurry, and it's not what it seems. Even if you think you know, you don't. So, yeah, but toward the end of the day, we will have Mercury sextile Pluto at 10:23 p.m. Now, Mercury sextile Pluto is like we can really get down to the bottom of things here. Expect deeper insights, not only with your mind, like being able to look more deeply into things, but also expect increased, concentration and focus, and seeing things that once were hidden from us before. So we'll be able to like see deeper into something, go deeper into something. We could actually use this Mercury sextile Pluto energy to concentrate on grounding ourselves. That's how I see it. All right, because Neptunian energy, it's wobbly all over the place. So, but then finally Mercury will enter into Aries at 11:24 p.m. And this is where our minds are going to become a lot more sharper. And Mercury in Pisces tends to be a little bit more slower, right? A little bit more relaxed, right? And Mercury in Aries is like a in your face, like speed up. Like once things quickly, we want to make decisions quickly. Mercury in Aries can be kind of compulsive. It's not compulsive, impulsive. So be aware of acting impulsively. Now, you also have to realize, too, that Mercury in Aries, the dispositor of Aries, the planet of Aries, is Mars. Right? So even when it comes to our intellect and making decisions and understanding things, it's going to want to be very Aries. It's going to want to be very Mars, very sharp, penetrating, very straight to the point. But we need to double check our actions and not be impulsive until Mars comes out of the storm that it's in. And I believe Mars actually comes out of shadow on March 18th. It may be the 19th, but I believe Mars is finally out of shadow. Now it's back, it's going full speed. So, but March 19th, things start to become a little more clear. Mars is now starting to come off the square to Neptune, the square to the sun and Mercury and all that stuff. And things become a little bit more clear. Things become a little bit more integrated. Still kind of foggy though. Still kind of foggy. But March 19th, really not much is really going on March 19th. I kind of just feel like March 19th is like a day to where it's like we can kind of watch the fog dissipate a little bit. We'll have the moon trine Mars at 5:32 a.m. Central Time on March 19th. And so that, we're going to want to take action on this day. Like moon trine Mars is like, I'm ready to take action. And I feel you can this day, but it's just kind of a need to still be aware, like to double check until at least March 20th when Mars gets out of the fog. But then the moon comes into Pisces. So the moon's going to come into Pisces at 10:12 a.m. And right when the moon comes into Pisces, not only do we got moon in Pisces, we got Saturn in Pisces, we got sun in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. Mercury just came out, but the moon's coming in. And so, again, it's just like, wow, like we are really in this dissolving energy of Neptune where everything doesn't really have meaning. It's just like, what is going on? And although it's not going to be that dramatic, like in your current circumstances. I mean, it could be, but it's like, yeah. But the moon will enter Pisces 10:12 a.m. The moon's going to conjunct Saturn right when it comes in because Saturn's at 0 degrees of Pisces. I think it's going to be at 1 degree this day. But anyway, it's going to conjunct it right when it comes in. And that conjunction will happen at 12:27 a.m. So there's going to be like a very seriousness. Although with Pisces energy, it's like we're just going to kind of feel like intuitively like we need to do something, or we need to listen to our intuition, or we need to take what's in our mind's eye and do something with it. We need to start to understand here. And go into it. Moon will sextile Venus at 3:54 p.m. March 19th. So Moon sextile Venus, there's a harmonious aspect of Venus. We can kind of relax, enjoy ourselves, maybe eat some good food, listen to some good music, like just have enjoy being not really knowing, enjoy being surrendering in the present. This week doesn't mean you don't do anything. No, like you need to keep doing what it is that you're doing. Just realize like you may not know the direction of where everything is going, and you're not going to know. But I feel March 20th you will. And this is where the Phoenix, this is where we're going to be. This is where the initiation, because not only that, Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn, at this last degree here, a very critical degree, is going to move into Aquarius March 23rd. And so things are going to become fully integrated by that time. Fully, I mean, not everything's always fully, but it's going to make more sense of what we need to do to initiate, basically. And the moon sextile Uranus on the 20th, the sun will sextile Pluto. So here it is, that last moment with the sun being in Pisces, sextile Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. Like we can really let go of any blocks, any barriers that has blocked us from true transcendence of our higher selves here. And then right when the sun sextile Pluto, sun is going to enter Aries an hour later. So the sun's going to sextile Pluto at 3:12 p.m. And then an hour later at 4:25 p.m. Central Time, the sun will enter Aries. And so sun enter Aries, we are now out of this, although, well, the moon's still in Pisces, and it'll be out of Pisces on the 21st. But we are now out of all this, what was that? You know what I mean? It's like Pisces is just like a great show. Like it's just like, you know, it can be so many things. Like, but when the sun comes into Aries, it's like, you know, the sun's exalted in Aries. So it's like, now's the time to initiate. And Mars will now be coming off all that craziness. So this is like the Phoenix rising. Like this is us, you know, when the sun comes into Aries, because the sun represents our core identity. It represents our awareness of ourselves. Also collective awareness, if we're talking collective, like collective awareness. But the awareness is going to be right on the self, sun coming in Aries. And Aries is all about self-determination, bold, courageous, brave, independence, self-independence, initiation. So it's like all this Neptunian energy that we were dealing with was just this huge, everything's being dissolved of what we thought, what we think, and it's all being integrated with Pluto, and boom, transformation. So we just got to get through all of that. And I know that was a very long, maybe even confusing video, but however, you know, I feel like it's a really big week. Just because, like, Mars square Neptune's one thing, like, okay, just be aware, but Sun on Neptune, Mercury on Neptune, Sun square Mars, Mercury square Mars, like, because Pisces is just like, it's the great deceiver. It can be the greatest imagination, the greatest creativity, the brilliance, or it can easily be the greatest deceiver. Like, oh wow, I thought I was totally tricked. That's Neptune. And Mars being in Gemini, well, Gemini rules the intellect. And the dispositor of Gemini, the planet of Gemini, is Mercury. And Mercury's in Pisces, drowning in Neptune. So yeah. So that's what I got. I really do appreciate y'all for watching. I just want to say thank you for all of the support, all of the positive comments, everybody that's come from the Tarot channel onto this channel, and maybe even new people as well. And yes, I will be posting frequently on here. It's just like right now, I'm just going with the flow. and you just got to go with the flow. So I appreciate y'all. And if you like the video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification button bell so that way you know when I upload a video and you know what's going on. So I appreciate y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.